Right now, somewhere in North America more than 12,000 years ago, a person is sitting beside a fire. The sun disappeared hours ago. The air is cold. Sparks drift into the darkness. Around the flames, family members talk quietly while meat dries nearby in the smoke. Then something unusual happens. A handful of leaves is tossed onto the embers. The scent is different. Someone leans closer, takes a breath, and waits. A few moments later, the world feels different. Maybe the pain in their body eases. Maybe their thoughts feel sharper. Maybe they believe they've heard the voice of a spirit. Whatever happened, one thing is certain. That breath mattered. And it raises an interesting question. Why did humans ever decide to inhale smoke in the first place? For most animals, smoke means danger. Run from it, escape it, survive it. But humans eventually did something strange. We learned to use it. Long before anyone smoked tobacco, people already lived with smoke every day. Families slept beside fires. Hunters smoked meat to preserve it. Villages used smoldering plants to drive away insects. Smoke wasn't unusual. It was part of life. Which means the first smoker probably didn't wake up one morning and invent smoking. The discovery was likely much smaller than that. Maybe a hunter noticed that one particular plant smelled different when it burned. Maybe a grandmother tending a fire realized certain leaves seemed to calm people nearby. Maybe a curious child leaned too close to the smoke and experienced something unexpected. Nobody knows for sure. But somewhere along the way, people began to notice something important. Not all smoke was the same. Some smoke did something to you. And once that discovery was made, everything changed. Imagine a small camp preparing for a hunt. Food has been scarce. The hunters need to travel far before sunrise. One of them places a bundle of dried leaves onto the coals. He takes a few careful breaths. Soon his hunger fades. His attention sharpens. He feels more alert. That sounds simple today, but to ancient people, it may have felt almost magical. What exactly was happening? The answer is chemistry. When plants burn, they release compounds into the air, and the lungs are remarkably efficient at absorbing them. Instead of waiting for digestion, those compounds can reach the brain in seconds. A leaf that might take minutes to affect someone when chewed could change how they feel almost immediately when inhaled. Ancient people didn't know neuroscience, but they knew results, and results are hard to ignore. Over time, knowledge spread from camp to camp. Some plants reduced hunger, others eased pain, some helped repel insects. Others seemed to create vivid dreams and visions, which raises another question. How early did humans begin experimenting with these plants? The clues take us across continents. In what is now Utah, archaeologists discovered wild tobacco seeds in a hearth more than 12,000 years old. Picture the people who left them there. There were no cities, no roads, no written language. Yet someone was already gathering tobacco. Scientists can't say exactly how it was used. Maybe it was chewed, maybe it was brewed. But it shows that humans had started forming a relationship with nicotine thousands of years before recorded history. Now travel south into ancient Mesoamerica. An artist sits before a wall, painting scenes from daily life. Among the figures are people holding smoking bundles of leaves. Clouds drift from their mouths. These aren't random decorations. They're snapshots of a practice that had become important enough to record. Farther north, burial mounds reveal stone pipes, stained with nicotine residue. The people buried there carried smoking tools into death itself. Think about that for a moment. A tool only reaches a grave when it matters. These weren't just objects. They were part of identity, part of belief, part of life. And similar stories appear elsewhere. Thousands of miles away on the Eurasian steppes, the Greek historian Herodotus described Scythian tribes throwing hemp onto hot stones. Then they crawled beneath blankets and inhaled the thick vapor. According to his account, they emerged shouting with joy. Different continent, different culture, different plant. Yet the idea was strangely familiar. Burn something, inhale it, feel changed. Why did so many societies arrive at similar practices? Because they were all solving the same human problem. People wanted relief, relief from pain, relief from fear, relief from hunger, relief from uncertainty. And sometimes they wanted something more. They wanted connection. Imagine a healer sitting beside a sick child. The village is worried. Family members gather nearby. The healer burns fragrant plants and lets the smoke drift through the shelter. Songs begin. Prayers follow. The child breathes the scented air. The family does too. Even if the smoke doesn't cure the illness, something else happens. The group becomes united. Everyone shares the same experience. Everyone participates in the same ritual. That sense of connection is powerful. In ancient communities, understood it long before psychologists ever studied it. This is where smoking began moving beyond practicality. It became ceremonial. Spiritual leaders, shamans, priests, and healers often became experts in smoke, not because they were foolish, not because they were tricked, but because they were careful observers. They noticed which plants calmed people, which ones energized them, which ones created visions, which ones made people sick. Generation after generation, they refined that knowledge. In a way, they were conducting experiments, not in laboratories, around campfires. One breath, observe, adjust, try again. Over centuries, rituals emerged. Some groups fasted before smoking, others sang. Some limited the number of inhalations, others mixed plants together. These weren't random traditions. They were attempts to manage something powerful, because people eventually learned an uncomfortable truth. The same smoke that healed could also harm. And the same plant that brought comfort could become difficult to live without. In ancient communities noticed that too. That's why so many traditions came with rules. Who could smoke? When they could smoke, how much they could use. The boundaries mattered. But there was another development happening quietly in the background. Humans began changing the plants themselves. Picture a farmer standing beside a patch of tobacco. Some plants seem stronger than others. Their effects are more noticeable. Their leaves are larger. So those are the seeds that get saved. The next season, the process repeats. Then again, then again. Over generations, wild plants slowly transform. Without realizing it, humans were breeding tobacco into something more potent. The relationship was becoming a partnership. The plant spread because people protected it. People continued using it because the plant delivered reliable effects. And eventually that partnership would reshape entire civilizations. But before that happened, another invention appeared. A surprisingly important one. The pipe. Imagine holding a burning leaf with your fingers. It's awkward, uncomfortable, difficult to control. Now imagine carving a small bowl from stone, adding a hollow stem, creating a tool specifically designed for smoke. Suddenly everything changes. Smoking becomes easier, more repeatable, more social. People can experiment, refine techniques, share practices. What began as an accidental discovery becomes a tradition, then a culture, then an institution. Archaeologists find fragments of these tools scattered across deserts, burial sites, and ancient settlements. Each piece tells the same story. Humans weren't simply using smoke anymore. They were designing for it, building technologies around it, organizing rituals around it, creating entire systems of meaning around a single breath. And yet, after all these discoveries, one mystery remains. We can analyze nicotine trapped in ancient pipes. We can date seeds buried beside hearths. We can study paintings, tools, and burial sites. But we still can't know exactly what the first smoker felt. Was it curiosity, desperation, relief, wonder? Maybe it was a hunter searching for focus. Maybe it was a mother trying to protect her family from insects. Maybe it was a spiritual leader looking for answers. Whoever that person was, they took a breath that countless others would eventually repeat. A simple inhale beside a fire, a moment so small it disappeared from history. Yet that moment helped create rituals, traditions, economies, and beliefs that would spread across the world. Which leaves us with a final question. If a single breath from a burning plant could reshape human culture for thousands of years, what exactly was happening inside the human mind that made smoke so powerful in the first place?